The cast of Boys Over Flowers appeared to lead ideal lives, but the truth was startling. Due to claims of aggression, one celebrity lost $13 million in court cases. Another was sleeping in parking lots while enrolled at one of the most difficult institutions in Korea. During her pregnancy, a cast member's husband was blackmailed for millions of dollars. And following a family catastrophe, one performer disappeared entirely for 5 years. We're revealing today what actually transpired with each cast member after the cameras stopped recording. Minho Lee. Lee Minho's career was just getting started in 2006. He was not yet a superstar. He was merely a budding actor who was looking forward to what would happen next while traveling with his pals. However, everything changed after a single automobile journey. While traveling to Gangwon Province, the car wrecked. The 2 passengers in the front seats passed away right away. In the rear, Lee Minho and his companion, Young Il-woo, barely made it out alive. Lee spent a month in a coma. His body was broken. When he awoke, he suffered several fractures to his ankle, thigh, and ribs. He had a torn knee. One of his legs was left permanently shorter than the other, and a 46 centimeters metal pin had to be placed in his thigh. He was unable to move, walk, or even stand pain-free for the following year. His ambition of becoming a star was on the verge of ending at that precise moment. His ascent following the accident seemed so improbable because of this. Nobody could see the suffering he had endured until he was cast as Ji-Yoo Jun-pyo in Boys Over Flowers. Lee Minho became the face of a generation, and the character became legendary. However, the success did not eliminate the risk. He was involved in another vehicle accident in 2011 while filming City Hunter. His previous injuries were exacerbated by the trauma from that accident, and it would recur later in life. Due to his injuries, he was unable to serve as an active duty soldier. When his required military service period came, he served as a public service officer at the Suso Social Welfare Center from May 2017 until April 2019. Few people comprehended the physical suffering he still carried from years earlier, while others questioned his military career. Then something unexpected happened. He made his Hollywood debut in 2022 with the Pachinko television series. It was audacious, dramatic, and intensely sentimental. His performance astounded critics in addition to his devoted followers. Collider, Rolling Stone, and the New York Times all named his episode 1 of the year's top TV highlights. Charm and good looks were no longer the only factors. It demonstrated his progress as an actor. Lee Minho, meanwhile, has acknowledged the difficulty of carrying that focus despite achievement. He claimed that the pressure of being at the top for 12 years made him feel as though one mistake may destroy everything. He acknowledged in recent interviews that he occasionally feels as though he might collapse at any time. He disclosed something even more intimate in July 2025. He claimed to have wept for days after losing his dog. He now longs to get married by the time he gets 40 since it made him realize how isolating stardom can be. His business side is stronger than ever, despite all the emotions that go on behind the scenes. He covers 27 distinct product areas and represents 11 well-known businesses. He appears everywhere, from Cuckoo to Fendi to Hugo Boss. Millions of people across Asia trust his visage. He is therefore among the most sought-after celebrities for endorsement deals. He is currently getting ready for another big event. With a budget of $30 billion, his latest film, Omniscient Reader, marks his comeback to the motion picture industry after nearly a decade. This time, he claims, the pressure is different. A movie is a one-shot production, but dramas receive weekly feedback. He acknowledged that the audience's obvious judgment of his work weighs heavily on him. Nevertheless, with all he has learned, he is returning to that world. His heart is still healing after all the suffering he endured. In the past, Koo-hun was the girl that every viewer cheered for, and the face of innocence on Korean television. Koo-hun was more than just a dramatist. She represented hope. However, her actual life was not scripted. When her marriage to Ahn Hae-young collapsed in the public eye in 2019, the fairy tale began to unravel. They even donated their wedding funds to charity, creating the impression that they were the ideal couple at first. Private messages were then leaked. Nevertheless, they displayed a relationship characterized by emotional collapse, distrust, and resentment. Accused him of neglecting his emotions. He claimed that she recorded him while he was asleep after lying to get into his apartment. When Anne disclosed that he was on medication for depression and had financial difficulties, things became worse. To satisfy her demands, he had taken out loans and sold his house. Both of them were hurt, and fans were in disbelief when the divorce was finalized in 2020. However, the coup did not vanish. Rather, she took an unexpected action. She returned to school in order to succeed, not just to kill time. She put forth more effort than ever when she returned to Sungkyunkwan University, where she had previously dropped out. She received her diploma in February 2024 with a GPA of 4.27 out of 4.5. That's 97.7%. That's where most people would stop. She didn't. with an acceptance rate of less than 15%. KAIST is one of the most competitive institutions in South Korea, and she was accepted. Even her detractors were surprised when she graduated with a master's degree in science journalism. However, there was a cost to her journey. She then acknowledged that, due to her lack of a permanent residence, she had been sleeping in parking lots in her car. Once a spoiled TV personality, the woman is now a student, living in her car and seeking knowledge in a society that once rejected her. Even so, it wasn't the end. She received a patent for the Goo Roll, a flat folding hair roller. In 2021, it was a true invention rather than merely a ploy. She established a business based on it. By the middle of 2025, the same woman who had sobbed on Instagram years before was now working with a professor of chemistry at KAIST to realize her vision. She founded a startup with a GUP business certificate and valid patents. It was a change that no one had anticipated. Kim Hyunjin playing the quiet prince. Kim Hyunjin found herself at the heart of one of the most agonizing celebrity scandals in Korean history. His ex-girlfriend first accused him of severe abuse in 2014. According to her, he caused injuries that required 6 weeks to heal. He settled for roughly $7,000 after acknowledging one incident. However, when she said she was pregnant and then accused him of causing her to miscarry, the situation became heated. She later took that back, but the harm had already been done. Kim retaliated in 2015 by filing a slander suit. In the meantime, in September, she gave birth to a boy. Kim was identified as the father by a paternity test. Layers of inner turmoil and conflicting assertions were exposed by court after court. Kim prevailed in the case in 2017. The woman was ordered by the court to give him $100 million. For assault, she was also sentenced to a suspended jail term. But there was a cost to winning. Kim lost about $13 million during those years. His brand sales disappeared. There were no concerts. He was dropped by Misha L. and Toyota. His agency severed relations with him, claiming he was untrustworthy. During his 2015 to 2017 military service, he made an effort to avoid the spotlight. However, rumors about him persisted even after that. He encountered more issues after his return. His ex-partner insisted on receiving monthly payments and full custody of their son. In the midst of all of this, Kim surprised everyone by getting married to someone else in 2018. Through it all, she had been there for him. He had 2 children with 2 separate ladies in less than 3 years. It was a field day for the journalists. His musical comeback wasn't very beneficial. Previously selling hundreds of thousands of copies, albums now barely sell 30,000. Venues became smaller. The cost per show decreased from $500,000 to as little as $50,000. He was spotted dining in style in 2021, while still having unpaid child support and court bills. It was revealed in 2022 that he had downsized from his previous penthouse to a smaller flat valued at $500 million. He established 501 in 2023. After getting back together with fellow SS501 members in the hopes of a comeback. However, they weren't expecting the response. The sales of tickets were slow. Rather than large stadiums, their performances took place in intimate venues and fan clubs. Kim Bum. Kim Bum became well known throughout Asia as the endearing Potter in Boys Over Flowers. However, viewers never noticed something behind the smile. Kim Bum was already battling a significant health condition in his early 20s. He suffered from rheumatoid arthritis, a degenerative disease that was inherited. He discreetly treated it for years with medicine and physical activity. However, the truth was eventually revealed in 2018 when it came time for military service. Unlike most performers, he was not a regular soldier. Due to his health, he was instead sent to public service. He had been having ongoing treatment since his early 20s, according to confirmation from his agency. His fans were taken aback by the announcement. They never thought the vivacious and dazzling star would have been battling such a terrible war in silence. Following Boys Over Flowers, Kim Bum's romantic life was frequently discussed in the press. He made waves in October 2013 when he went public with his co-star from Goddess of Fire, actress Moon Gun-young. Fans were ecstatic when the relationship was officially announced in November 2013, but the couple had split up by May 2014, which was only 7 months later. The fans were devastated. Then, in March 2018, just a few weeks prior to enlisting in the military, Kim Bum announced yet another connection. Oh Yeon-seo, the actress. This time, it seemed like the last love chapter in his 2-year hiatus from the limelight. However, that also ended abruptly before he had finished basic training. Fans questioned what was actually happening behind the scenes after 2 well-known romances ended abruptly. Amid all of this, Kim Bum took a risky action that nobody saw coming. He entered the music industry in 2012 with the June 20th release of his solo album, Hometown. He even performed live in Japan at the Stellar Ball in the Shinagawa Prince Hotel in Tokyo. It was more than a pastime. He meant it. Supporters could see that this was more than simply a side project, it was a true dream. Then the global wave arrived. He has a significant part in Sui Hark's Young Detective D, Rise of the Sea Dragon in 2013. The movie went on to become one of the year's highest-grossing Chinese films. Suddenly, Kim Bum became well-known throughout Asia, not only in Korea. He then produced Chinese dramas and motion pictures, including The Beloved, Lovers and Movies, and V-Love. He had suddenly and covertly emerged as a major player on the world stage. The most unexpected thing, though, is how quiet he has been about love lately. Kim Bum is 36 years old and single as of 2025. There have been no verified romances since he and Oyano split up in 2018. He made no mention of dating or marriage, even though he was one of Korea's most eligible bachelors. Fans are often searching the internet, and terms like Kim Bum wife are frequently used. However, there is never any response, no reported sightings, no persistent rumors, just total quiet. The curiosity is only heightened by that mystery. Following his discharge from the military, Kim Bum hasn't slowed down. With significant parts in Tale of the Nine-Tailed in 2020, Law School in 2021, and Ghost Doctor in 2022, he made a triumphant comeback to the big screen.